In 1960, British Rail saw its last steam locomotive roll out of the works in the form of 9F Evening Star in March. Many thought that steam would never have a place on the main lines ever again. True, there have been many preserved and rebuilt steam locomotives, but it wouldn't be until 2008 when the rails of Britain would play home to a brand new steam engine, and steam would return to the main line once again. A group who wished to build a fresh new engine called the A1 Steam Locomotive Trust was founded in 1990. Their goal? To build a Peppercorn A1 and possibly other locomotives in the future. When it came time to design the locomotive, dimensions were gathered by measuring Blue Peter at the National Railway Museum. They had to use the A2 since there were no general drawings of the arrangement of a Peppercorn A1. What did survive the years were other drawings originally used at Doncaster Works preserved at the NRM. Over the course of 3 days, a team of volunteers collated these in the autumn of 1991. The original drawings were India ink drawings using linen instead of paper. They needed to be scanned into a computer-aided design, or CAD program, since the microfilm NRM copies were not suitable for use at the works. Construction of the locomotive started in Darlington Works in 1994. Though several of the components had to be built elsewhere, the majority of construction took place at Darlington. Upon hearing of the project, an Argentine locomotive engineer by the name of Livio Dante Porta contacted the A1 Trust with a proposal. He had several ideas to improve upon the Peppercorn A1 design. These design changes would turn the Peppercorn A1 into a second-generation steam locomotive. Due to the Trust building the next locomotive in the class and not just a replica, these changes were considered. However, the projected expenses needed to test the locomotive, had it been fitted with all the new changes, was far too great for the Trust to cover. In Porta's own words, it would have taken at least 20,000 test miles to iron out any problems that arose. As such, only select improvements were built into the design, keeping the Peppercorn A1 a first-generation steam locomotive. In 2003, another proposal came forth to make the locomotive oil-fueled, but these too were shut down thanks to the increase in global fuel prices. On August 1, 2008, 14 years after the start of construction, the brand new Peppercorn A1 rolled out of Darlington Works under her own steam. Though she was finally built, she needed to be put under some tests to ensure that she was operating properly. After 2 months at the preserved Great Central Railway and 3 mainline tests at the National Railway Museum, the locomotive was approved for mainline passenger service and given the LNER apple green livery. Finally, the legend known as Tornado was ready for the rails. Tornado's name was chosen in honor of the Royal Air Force Tornado air crews flying in the Gulf War at the time. As the 50th in the Peppercorn A1 line, she was dubbed number 60163. Though still a first-generation steam locomotive, the varying differences between Tornado and past Peppercorn A1s are hidden away in the belly of the beast. These include a smaller coal capacity, 7.5 long tons instead of 9 long tons, to allow the tender to carry more water, 6,000 gallons instead of only 5,000, a steel firebox instead of a copper, one-piece frames, and more. To keep with modern-day safety regulations, the boiler is welded together instead of riveted. Primary air brakes instead of steam-powered ones were fitted, along with LED cluster-based head and tail lamps, an automatic warning system for signals, a train protection and warning system, a data recorder, and various other things one would expect in a modern-day engine. At the time of writing, to my current knowledge, Tornado is still restricted to 75 miles per hour on the main line. Though attempts have been made for approval to allow her to reach 90, none such approval has been passed. It is believed that she could easily match Flying Scotsman in reaching 100 miles per hour. On April 25, 2009, Flying Scotsman was due to take part in a race to the north from King's Cross Station in London to Edinburgh Waverley. The purpose of said race was for the popular BBC show Top Gear to compare various ways of transportation from the 1960s. Unfortunately, Scotsman was unable to partake in the event, allowing Tornado to take her place. Her opponents were a Jaguar XK120 and a Vincent Black Shadow. Thanks to having to stop for water resupply 4 separate times and complications in which water wasn't being fed to the boiler for a short period, Tornado came in a very close second behind the Jag, about 10 minutes between them. Tornado represents just what can be done when a group of people come together tied by something that they love and have the will to not only give it fresh life, but improve it as well. Thanks to them, the Rails of Britain was able to play home to a locomotive the world hadn't seen for 44 years. Welcome home, Tornado. Welcome home.